The night began with the usual laughter and casual banter expected from a Jimmy Kimmel Live segment, with the audience excitedly welcoming Brad Pitt to the stage. Dressed in his signature laid-back style, Brad flashed his charismatic smile and settled into the chair across from Kimmel. Initially, the conversation followed the familiar route: how recent projects, quirky anecdotes from set, and a few jokes about aging in Hollywood. However, as the interview unfolded, a subtle tension began to grow. Jimmy, known for his edgy humor, suddenly veered into territory that felt more personal than playful. A comment about Brad's past relationships sparked a noticeable shift in Pitt's expression. The audience gave a nervous chuckle, unsure if it was all part of the act. Jimmy Kimmel, likely trying to push for a viral moment, mentioned Angelina Jolie by name while joking about Brad's tabloid-worthy love life. "You've dated half the cover of People magazine. Bro, did you get frequent flyer miles for that?" He laughed. Brad, initially smirking, suddenly sat up straighter and responded in a tone that was cool but clipped. "There's a difference between humor and digging into someone's personal pain." The crowd quieted, sensing the shift. Jimmy, perhaps misreading the moment, pushed further, saying, "Come on, man, it's not like you haven't made peace with it by now, right?" That was the line that seemed to cross the threshold. Brad's face hardened, and the vibe shifted from lighthearted to tense in an instant. Brad tried to steer the conversation back to his new film, attempting to reset the tone. He spoke passionately about the creative process, his role in producing independent films, and the importance of storytelling in troubled times. But Jimmy wouldn't let it go. He quipped, "Sure, but have you told those stories to your exes yet?" Forcing an awkward laugh from the audience. Brad paused, clearly taken aback. He looked at Jimmy for a long moment before saying, "You know, I came here to talk about art and life here, not to be reduced to gossip fodder." The crowd erupted in gasps and scattered applause. Kimmel, perhaps realizing he had gone too far, tried to joke it off, but the damage had been done. The tension was no longer subtly, it was center stage. What followed was a visibly uncomfortable silence. Brad leaned back in his chair, arms crossed, his demeanor calm but cold. Kimmel stumbled to find neutral ground, throwing out a softball question about working with Quentin Tarantino. But Brad, still clearly rattled, gave a curt answer and glanced off stage. A producer was seen signaling to both of them, likely attempting damage control. Jimmy tried to recover with a quick monologue joke, but Brad cut in. "You know, I've done a lot of these shows, and I respect the platform, but if we're just going to trade jabs about things that hurt real people, I'd rather not be part of it." The audience was stunned. Some clapped again, others sat silently. It was a rare moment of raw authenticity in a space usually filled with rehearsed charm. With the room thick with discomfort, Jimmy quickly said, "Okay, fair enough, let's switch gears." But Brad was already unhooking his mic. He stood up, adjusted his jacket, and gave a quick nod to the audience. "Thanks for having me," he said, voice even but firm. "But I think I'm done here." Kimmel, caught off guard, muttered something about catching up backstage, but Brad didn't stop. He walked calmly off set, leaving the audience and cameras in stunned silence. The band hesitated, unsure whether to play him off or not. For a moment, the show had lost its script. It wasn't just a celebrity moment, it was a crack in the glossy surface of late-night TV, revealing something far more human underneath. Backstage sources later revealed that Brad had warned producers before the interview to keep the questions focused on his work and not on his personal life, especially regarding his children and past relationships. Apparently, there was a mutual agreement that those areas were off-limits, so when Jimmy crossed that line, it wasn't just a casual mistake, it felt like a betrayal. Brad, known for his professionalism, rarely lets emotions show publicly. But that night, his limits were tested, and rather than fake a smile or play along, he chose to walk away. For many viewers, that decision wasn't just surprising, it was inspiring. A refusal to be made into a punchline struck a chord with those tired of seeing celebrities humiliated for ratings. The clip of Brad walking off aired in real time, and within minutes, social media exploded. Hashtags like #BradWalks and #RespectBrad began trending globally. Many fans applauded him for standing his ground, calling it a lesson in dignity and boundaries. Others criticized Jimmy for pushing too far, accusing him of sacrificing human decency for shock value. Late-night TV had long flirted with that line, but this incident forced a bigger conversation. Is it fair to drag personal pain into the spotlight for the sake of laughs? Should celebrities be expected to just take it in the name of entertainment? The discourse was everywhere, from TikTok reactions to op-eds in major publications. Jimmy Kimmel issued a brief apology the next day, saying, "I always aim for humor, never hurt. If I crossed the line, I sincerely apologize to Brad." But many felt it was too little, too late. The network declined to air the full segment again, replacing it with a pre-recorded sketch. Meanwhile, Brad's team released a simple statement. Brad has always appreciated thoughtful conversations about his work. He believes in respectful dialogue and chooses to walk away when that's compromised. The response only boosted public respect for him. He was being seen not just as a movie star, but as a man choosing self-respect over spectacle, integrity over indulgence. Industry insiders weighed in, noting that this moment might change how celebrity interviews are handled going forward. "This is a shift," one producer said. "The days of cheap shots and scandal fishing might be numbered." Other celebrities voiced support for Brad, including actors and directors who shared similar stories of being caught off guard on live television. The entertainment world suddenly felt less bulletproof, and more aware of its responsibility. Brad, for his part, remained silent, choosing not to fan the flames. Instead, he returned to his schedule, attending charity events and promoting his latest work through more controlled platforms, where he could speak on his own terms. As the news cycle moved on, the memory of Brad Pitt walking off Jimmy Kimmel Live remained a standout moment, a clash of celebrity, privacy, and media ethics that refused to be forgotten. It wasn't a scandal in the traditional sense, but it was explosive because of what it represented: the quiet strength of setting boundaries in a world that profits from overexposure. Brad didn't yell, he didn't make a scene, he simply left. And in doing so, he delivered a message louder than any monologue. Every person, no matter how famous, deserves respect. And when respect is denied, walking away is sometimes the most powerful thing you can do.